I did. I just were saying. No,
Well, I have the time as 6:30, and we have all our council here, right? So let's call the meeting to order. This is the work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia for Monday, December 28th, 2020. We'll review the business meeting first. Which we have the minutes. We have review and approval of the winter contract, which we'll talk about in the work session if anybody has questions. And that's it.
So you can tell campfire stories after that?
Sure. You can talk for 30 seconds. Whatever story you can
Is
get
there
in.
anything left in here?
So any questions on the meeting? Any correspondence?
No, ma'am.
Any city attorney's report?
No, ma'am.
What have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing stuff.
Oh, okay, but no report.
Nope, nothing.
So we'll have the update of ongoing projects.
The first item has to do with the town center, so let's look at the update that you have in front of you here. Some good news. The parking declaration, we have a draft in hand that we received before Christmas. Blake is reviewing that. We've got a call tomorrow to talk about that. Master declaration, joint site development agreement still being worked on. The Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners did approve the construction IGA. We're just waiting on fully completed document. As far as meetings and calls, we don't have a parking deck update call this week. It's Tuesday, January the 5th, and we talk to Larry Kaiser every Wednesday at 9 o'clock and get an update on things that we have assigned him to work on. Going down through the list, everybody knows the design review period is January 29th, extended out to then. The master deck and the JDA, Blake is in regular contact with David Ansari and Raymond Shealy, who are working on those documents, and we make sure that we're in agreement as they work along. The civil engineering phase, phase one, Midcast floated an idea last week about the possibility of an early start date. Right now, we're looking at hopefully February the 1st. They were talking about sometime in January. That's a problematical issue there. We will not have closed on the property. They will not have the property. I really don't think we could let them start with an easement. It'd probably be unbelievably complicated. All they would be able to do is get the asbestos out of the properties, out of the post office and a couple of the other buildings, put up some silt fence. They're saying that it would save them somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000. I have raised the issue with Blake Sharpton. I haven't talked to you guys about it, but I think that's a non-starter. It'd be difficult to do. We haven't seen documents. We don't have documents yet that you have reviewed. It's just a real difficult thing there. So.
Well, we'd have to wind up bidding that work out.
What's that?
We'd have to wind up bidding that work out because we would still own the property.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the DGA owns the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, but it's, I think it was just one of those trial balloons they threw out there. And that's another issue, the DDA. So it's really something that, we're all frustrated that it's going to be February instead of August or January or December. So we just didn't get there. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. The growth plans, Michael and is still working on pricing with Midcast. It looks like right now, the pavilion, the tree house itself, is going to be somewhere between $450,000 and $500,000. A little more than he thought. So if you remember, we budgeted $850 for all of our improvements. We'll see where we get to. There's still some things that we need some input on. I know you guys have talked a little bit email-wise on public restrooms. You got some more information from Michael Kidd on the building, the separate building. We really we probably need to have another work session to talk about that. But that's one big issue budget-wise. Two others that we're working on: Michael Kidd's, all of the city improvements, the public restrooms, and then we're working with CHA on the right-of-way improvements to get a solid budget number there. So those are three things that we need to finalize the budget. So I think a work session sometime after the first of the year would make a lot of sense. The county library, as I said, the IGA's adopted. We're just waiting on that. The parking deck CM at risk, we got a finalized contract that I sent out to you guys to review last week. As soon as we got it, didn't go out with the packet, but and basically that has not changed. It's language that is, I know Chuck probably recognizes a lot of it. There was a lot of discussion between Midcast and Winter as far as the liquidated damages, and they came to a $2,000 a day figure. That's more than normal. It's not as much as Midcast would have liked.
Can I ask a question? Well, we're going to cover it in work session.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, the way the contract's written, the $2,000 a day would be paid to the city or to the DDA, correct? So liquidated damages comes to us if they don't move properly on the getting the deck out of the way of the apartments in time. So what's the mechanism that allows the liquidated damages to go from Winter to us, and then from us to the guys who wanted liquidated damages? Because as it's, I mean, if they're gonna agree to this, I'm great with us getting $2,000 extra and them getting strung out and getting nothing.
It shouldn't be like that.
Okay, well, maybe
The calendar.
Okay, I may have missed something on there that transfers the $2,000 liquidated damages to the contractual entity, which is the city, of which document? Which we have to do.
$3,000.
And again, I don't care. I'm happy. Matter of fact, I'll go over there and slow Winter down. And if I'm right, tell David I'm sorry he owes me a dinner.
You really want to have dinner with him?
No, I didn't say I'd go to dinner with him.
Yeah, this contract says $3,000 a day.
Well, it's the amount,
The final's $2,000 a day, so.
Yeah, because online it was on Winter CMR contract. I don't even remember which one it was. It's the second one, contract A-133, I think is the one that I was looking at. And I just didn't see where there was some mechanism to go from liquidated damages being assessed to Winter and somehow getting back to the people who were worried about it at all. And
Todd, I'm reading it, and again, I've not been into this contract in months at this point, but
Okay.
I don't disagree with your reading of it. The way you're reading of it is, the payments would go to the owner, which is the DDA. Of course, we wouldn't have a claim. The claims would come from Midcast, who would be raising the claim if they weren't able to rent the apartments or sell the apartments or that type of thing. So I'm not sure what's been negotiated in the background, if there's another agreement, but, you're correct. The claim here is this contract is between the DDA and the renter. I don't see any mention at all of Midcast in that agreement, so I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
That would be a good question for Blake. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pass the buck.
no.
I'm not sure what they
And
come up
again,
with.
it really doesn't do us any service for me to raise that, other than they've been going back and forth about this for
Quite a
forever.
while.
And I don't understand how they didn't, they're certainly, if that's their issue, that they think they're due money if those targets aren't met, I don't want them to turn around and say to us, oh, by the way, you're starting to cut us checks. That mechanism needs to be spelled out in these contracts and in these agreements. And certainly, if this is the bulk of the parking deck, it needs to be reflected in here and not in one of the JDA or somewhere else. Or needs to be reflected in all of it.
If you look on page 3 of Exhibit A, the GMP amendment,
Right.
that's the time frame that they have been negotiating over.
Yeah.
And all of that is from the notice to proceed date, which
Right.
we don't know yet. We're assuming it's going to be around the 1st of February, but those were the dates that, pending that not meeting that date was,
Yeah.
was the $2,000 a day damage fee.
Right, and again, the dates aren't pertinent to the issue of
No.
if you are
Who it's getting
getting
paid
liquidated
to.
damages, it needs to be, because there are no damages to the DDA. So Winter Construction would say, well, we didn't hurt the DDA. And again, if Midcast is bad and happy on this, let it lay, but.
There may be an assignment in here, I don't know. I mean, if there's an assignment, then that's a possibility where, there's an assignment to Midcast. but
Yeah,
I'm just not
I
aware.
didn't see one, but then again, I'm sure I didn't spend as much time as,
Well, I can tell you that, that Midcast spent a lot of time and approved they were not happy with the 2,000, but they accepted it. So,
well, they're going to be even less happy if there's no way for them to actually get the money.
so
Well, let's just hope it all works out.
But that's where we ended up with that calendar of days and the $2,000 a day damage figure.
Yeah, so this A-133, 2009
Uh-huh.
is not, the one we have right here is not the final draft.
Right, I think the one we have online is.
The one we have that we received an email is the final.
Right.
It
And that's the
reflects
one I was reading.
$2,000, yeah.
Had been used.
And I think there are two signature documents, both the GMP amendment, which the GMP itself, we knew there were going to be some increases, but it's still fairly significantly under our budget number, over $100,000 under our budget number, close to it. And, we hope that getting it in place allows them to tie up some other numbers, mostly their steel costs. And that's why we had those called meetings scheduled.
Right.
To try to get it done and get those numbers locked in. But I feel good that the number is under where our budget number was. So I think it's, tonight, Chuck, if the council so desires, can they just have authorize the mayor to sign the final document?
Sure. You can do that, you can authorize the mayor to sign the final document, you know, upon an explanation, whatever you want to do, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can absolutely do that.
Again, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
adopting the packet. It doesn't protect winter or not, winter or midcast anywhere that I saw, but then again, I didn't.
So are you reading that, Todd, because it says the liquidated damages will be the sole and exclusive remedy for owner, which is going to be the DDA?
No, it's and Chuck, am I correct? The only parties to this are winter construction and the DDA?
That is my reading. Now,
Right.
The concern that I would have is not so much, you know, the issue is, you know, making sure that the DDA is protected, that, you know, if they miss the milestone date, that, you know, the midcast, you know, doesn't come after the DDA, that their sole remedy is to come after winter. So, you know,
But Midcast isn't going to have a contract with winter.
does not appear so.
No, and we don't have a contract with Midcast in this part that we're adopting tonight, so.
I have not been part of those, I mean, you know, the way I would have done it wouldn't be appropriate, so, I mean, you know, I don't wanna get involved, that's just that's probably just a Blake call, since Blake's been reviewing it, that, you know, you all just need to ask Blake about those questions. You can go ahead and the mayor can authorize it, absent, you know, any reservations you have, so that doesn't slow down everything, but, you know, certainly, that's probably a good Blake call, you know, because I just don't know what's been negotiated in the background about that.
And again,
And maybe there's something in the JDA that covers
Well,
it.
and that's where I would have, you know, we would
Yeah.
have, we would have tied it to the JDA. So, and it may, you know, I'm not part of that, I don't know the answer to that.
And we haven't seen the
Haven't
latest
seen that
version
yet.
of the JDA.
okay, so when we get the JDA, we just need to make sure liquidated damages, if it's spelled out anywhere, does not exceed the $2,000 that's in this contract, and there's some mechanism to transfer it. Because right now, this is only between us and winter. Midcast doesn't come into play at all.
But the key thing there is what Chuck mentioned earlier, that they don't come after the city.
Right.
Right. And so, and that may be all worked out. So, and if that's all worked out, then, you know,
Well, all I know, it was discussed, but we haven't seen the document.
right.
Well, again,
So let's check on that
it's been
tomorrow
a few
before.
years since I've had to mess with stuff like this, but usually, if there's somebody who's interested in liquidated damages, they're actually party to the contract that spells it out, and they're not. So.
No, they're not.
So then tonight, you guys can authorize me to sign it pending a resolution to that question. And let's spell out what the issue is. And then we'll find that out. We can email out everybody, make sure everybody's good with it.
What this
before we
will
sign
do,
it.
though, is lock in the GMP.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And that's what we want to do.
So,
So, well, I'll let you finish this.
but moving down the list here, multifamily residential, I think I sent a link out, that gave you some information on their contractor, Katera. I've been in one of their structures in Atlanta, and it's pretty impressive. They've got a pretty impressive resume. Stormwater master detention, Dickerson was back at work today. One of the issues that we had was the crosswalk at the new post office. CPL is redesigning that with more signage, lights, so we make it a little safer going across there. The stormwater within phase one, once again, we got a very good price there on that part. That is separate from the Dickerson contract, well under budget there. Market design and leasing agreement, had a conversation with Kirk today, and we're going to start that process according to the agreement. I think they'll be ready to probably get started later this week. Hopefully we'll have a phone call there. A lot of people are out over this holiday, and so it's been a little slow getting that started. They did send some architects that we've started to look at. I mean, Smallwood is one of those, which is not really a surprise. Smallwood has done a lot to make themselves look a little bit better in our eyes, basically, based on the Grove work that they've done. Another reason for a work session to talk about the bond issue. We probably need to have Bill Camp give us an update on the market and see where it is. It's a little bit more expensive than it was a few months ago, but it's still a very good market for issuing bonds. The public infrastructure, that's one of those budget items I mentioned. We're still trying to nail down with Larry Kaiser and CHA. The sign ordinance, we kind of put that on hold until we get the documents worked on. The USPS closing, that has been very, very frustrating. We have a conference call in the morning with Phil Doyle, who is running that on the post office side. They should have all the numbers that they need to get us a settlement statement and get us to closing, but we haven't seen them yet. So we'll see if we can put a little more pressure on them in the morning. The one thing Phil said today was, my legal team is out this week. We'll talk to them in the morning.
It was supposed to be done last week before his legal
It was
team was
supposed to be
out.
done several weeks ago.
They were out that week too,
Yeah.
and the week before that.
Property easements for joint access, those are being worked on. And sanitary sewer expansion is the project's out for bid. GWR has that out for bid. So, where we can, we're moving ahead. We're waiting on the post office. That's obviously, there's no starting early and there's no starting on time unless we get that property. So that's basically where we stand there with the town center stuff. Just a few other items here, the human resources issues. We did get a new part-timer back today. Her name is Lois Arnold, and good to have Melissa back, I hope, maybe on a little more regular basis. The code enforcement, we're working on a couple of items. We had a commercial vehicle complaint in the Oak Meadow subdivision. We're making sure that we are treating everybody the same in there, looking at the whole subdivision, so we don't leave ourselves open for any type of complaint about targeting one individual. Snellville Pavilion, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago with Ms. Rollins, and we continue to monitor that. There was an issue on Christmas morning about 1 o'clock. Nobody was back there, as you would expect. There was some noise that I could not hear the noise on the video. I couldn't. I'm not sure anybody could.
It was,
We're talking, but Johnny Green has
The reindeer.
gone back with the owner about some loose metal on the buildings. So hopefully we could, you know.
Loose metal's not allowed between 5 PM.
Yeah. There was a lot of wind, and you know, there might have been some banging, I don't know. You know, the police got back there immediately almost, so. The miscellaneous,
Great job, this is.
I know everybody is sick about losing the red oak on there on 78th. We've handled a lot of calls today. Basically tried to, we aren't shifting the blame. We're placing the blame where it belongs.
Yeah, solely.
And I have the plaque upstairs. I think the Historical Society would like to have the plaque and display it. I think that's the proper place for it. If y'all are okay with that. It'll be kept safe. Senior Center update, we had the discussion last time. I think, did everybody get the update from Lisa?
Yes.
You know, we are trying some new things. We met with the Senior Center Advisory Council to get their ideas. There are, you know, sometimes you put things out there and you don't get a big response. What's it?
They've been closed 9 months, and they're just now coming up with something?
No. We did the exercise thing. We took, we talked to the Senior Center Advisory Council, and said, what do you want to do? We're trying to listen to people and do what they feel comfortable doing. You got to realize that in talking to other agencies, Gwinnett County is doing a lot less than we are. So, I mean, everybody is concerned about that age group. So, you know, you're going to get a variety of opinions. You're going to get some people who just ignore it and go out, but mostly folks have a lot of concerns. So, you know, we'll see what kind of a response we get.
Well, hopefully in another month or two, most of the seniors will have vaccines.
Maybe a little longer than that, but, you know, it's, if they'll take it.
Yeah,
I don't know what percentage will
will
line
actually
up.
take it,
Maybe
yeah.
they could open events to people that have had a vaccine or something,
Yeah.
you know, and do some of their events anyway.
Mhm.
Because I assume when you get the vaccine, you'll get some kind of card, like you do when you get a flu shot, you know, saying that you've had it. Maybe you could-
Well, if there's a sign on the door, or you sign a piece of paper when you come in saying, I have had the vaccine. If you didn't have the vaccine, that's on
Get a
your
membership card.
Right, right.
One of those marks.
Yeah.
We used to,
Yeah.
When we get our polio thing.
the brand.
But that basically covers what I've got.
Anybody have anything else?
I saw something here, I can't find it now. It was something about if a subcontractor didn't make what he was, it specifically said profit. I'll have to load it up and do a search for it.
Well, if you
Which-
find it, then just email,
Yeah,
because we can
it just seemed like.
check for it before.
Yeah.
In our contracts, in the AIA contracts? is
Yeah,
that
and what we got emailed to us.
Okay.
And I should have noted it when I went through it, now I can't find it again. But I'll download it and search it, and see what I can find. It just seemed a little bit unreasonable.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
It specifically said
subcontractor refers to
subcontractor.
winter. But,
Let me find it, it may not be a matter of concern at all, but I just want to make sure it isn't.
Okay, and then discussion of proclamation request, Salon? What you got?
Just to give you guys a little something. Little something. It's not much. Because I couldn't like really.
thank you.
No problem. Like to write Melissa.
Thank you.
He's the teacher.
Yeah, you're looking just like a teacher passing out.
Yeah. Okay, because I'm very visual, so I'm always going to assume everybody else
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I am requesting for a proclamation for Hank Reed, who has the letter.
Can you take your mask off?
Take it off? Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to. Okay.
You get-
So my request actually is for a proclamation for Hank Reed, okay? We all, I don't know how many of you know him, and what he does, okay? And I feel like, especially in light of COVID, look, people are losing their jobs. They're on the verge of losing housing, okay? I was working with a group who we hand out toys and little trinkets, little things for kids whose parents cannot make ends meet to buy toys for them, okay? Now, I found two within the city of Snellville who are in dire need, okay? And then another one, which is your student, but I'm gonna let it stay anonymous. One of your students you have, I think, 2 or 3 years. Yes. So, just so you know.
Senior?
So the need, yeah, so the need is, there is still a need. It may not be a big need, okay? But the need is still here. It is difficult to put a blind eye or difficult to turn your face the other way, knowing what's happening, what's just happening nowadays with the COVID. Okay, people are losing jobs. So, but getting back to the request for him, I remember in March, late March, or middle March, when they closed all the schools down, and because the schools were closed, the students couldn't get lunch, okay? And I got together with a group named the Infusion Inc., and I said, what can we do, okay, to help combat, or at least fill in the gap until the school opens up again the following week, so we can go ahead and get some more food for the kids. The person who has the Infusion Inc., he was like, okay, well, you know, we can help, but we can't do it solo. We're only like a small little group. So I called on Hank, and I said, Hank, how do you feel about helping out? And he said, tell me what to do. And so I told him, I said, if I hook you up with this group, and you guys talk it out, do you think you're willing to, you know, if you can get your resources together just for 1 week? That's all I asked for. Across the schools, I'm not saying do it in the county, I'm not saying do it in the state, just a little bit for our area. And Hank said, sure, no problem. And he did get together with the other group, and they started giving out meals, okay? They had 2 locations, I don't know if you recall. One was at the Baptist church, and one was at Grace Snell Middle School. And so people were going, people were actually getting food, people were actually having a nutritious meal that some of them otherwise couldn't get because school was closed. Some people rely only on school lunches, okay? So right there, I was like, okay, he's doing all this, which is a good thing. And then even when school opened up, they were still continuing. I don't know if you guys remember, but little groups started popping up around Gwinnett, all because of them starting with the food, you know, distribution of food, okay? So it started with him, actually. I'm not taking accolades because I didn't jump in there and dip my sleeves like this. I just bounced an idea, they took it, and I'm good with it, right? And let me just, being that I mentioned the Snellville Church because they were giving food out of the church as well, let me just mention, because I think Todd, if I recall correctly, Todd or Dave, one of you guys, so forgive me if I'm wrong, okay, with both of you. I had a conversation early on in the year, I think it was after I had my proclamation, and I mentioned to you about Hank. And was it with you that I had a conversation?
So, yeah.
Okay, and Todd said, well, it's gonna be kind of difficult because he works for the church, right? You said
Well,
that he's kind of sort of like to that.
they hired him to do his program on Wednesdays at their church.
Okay, from what I understand, he is affiliated with the church, and then the church allows him to use the kitchen. And he says, no, I'm just telling you, I'm not.
No,
I'm just trying to remember what you.
Time was what he was doing at that time. Those costs were covered by the church. If he has something else that he's doing, he may have
Okay.
other
That was-
financial needs.
At that time, okay, but, so that's why I said I wasn't sure if it was along that line of conversation. But, So anyway, he made it clear, because I did talk to him. That's how I have most of his info, not just from me talking to him, but also from Facebook, stealing some pictures, as you can see. So having talked to him, I said, listen, I'm under the impression that the church is paying you for certain things. And he was like, Solange, I don't get a dime from them. They're not paying me. They're just allowing me to use the facility so I can cook. He said, I go to different churches. Depending on where the need is, if the church calls me, I'm going there and I'm using the facilities to cook and to distribute the food in the area. So he has no affiliation other than that. He said on Wednesday, though, he is still cooking food. The food, I think, costs like $7 for the food, but that money goes strictly to the church. He said, they don't pay me out a dime for it. He said, I have to use the kitchen, and that's what they do on Wednesday. And I guess maybe that is just a supplement for him. I'm allowing you to use my kitchen, so go ahead and do something for us. I think that's how I'm seeing it business-wise, right? Also, he works very closely with Southeast Co-op, with Laura Drake, and I asked her in what capacity, how do you work with her? Because I know she does big things with food distribution. I know Give Hunger the Boot, you work with her. And I was telling him, asking him, how exactly is she working with you? And so he said to me that she donates the food, and I put it all for you guys in print. She donates the food, and she sponsors 300 meals per week for her clients. She also donates bulk foods, which she cannot distribute to her client. And occasionally she caters lunch, which supports his organization. I am well aware that Hank is not bagging food, he's not putting boxes, you know how we do food distribution, you know how I did it with Leeds, big food distribution. I'm well aware he doesn't do that, but he cooks. Now, to me, that's also a good thing, because with COVID now, some people don't have electricity. To be honest with you, because I don't like to talk too much in certain things, I had to help a student, as a matter of fact, when I used to work at Bergman, okay? She had posted it on Facebook. She's like, we need help. So I wanted to know what the help was about. Lord and behold, her dad had lost the job. They only had one sole income. There was no heat. They just turned it off. And she said, oh my God, it is so freezing cold. We don't know what to do. Now, I almost said her name, but I know this girl, she's a sweetheart. I would jump and help her because I know she's just honest, you know? And so I helped her with another teacher, okay? And if you guys want to investigate my story, I can give you the name of the other teacher. I don't have a problem with that. So we helped her to be able to pay her light bill, okay? So she can get some heat. They couldn't cook. None of that. There was nothing available, okay? Right now, I am getting information in periodically from different websites, different places, to help with the food insecurity, okay? So I'm sending it to people who I know who are always asking me, when is the next food distribution? Where do we go? How do I go about it? Do I have to register? You know, and I do have some information on one tonight. So there is a need, you know, and with what he's doing, I commend him, okay? And I understand there are other people in the county who are doing things like this, but who exactly in Snellville city limits is doing it? Who is doing it? Because despite the fact that we're saying it is not needed here, I am telling you that there are some families that do need the help. I'm telling you there are, okay? Any questions for me so far before we continue?
Are you trying to persuade us to do a
Kind of, sort of. No, I'm a teacher. No, but I'm telling you that it's a need, it's not persuasion, it's just like, you know, it's a fact.
No, I was just going to tell you, absolutely, just write it up and
Just
we'll put it on the next
write the
agenda.
resolution and let's,
I have
or the
no problem.
So,
proclamation.
yes, we can do that?
Absolutely.
I love you guys.
No question.
Okay, but I mean, you know.
No, this does a lot for the community.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Very
No, I
well
think
deserved.
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
So, I feel like I almost want to cry because it is stuff out there. I mean, if you see the people who don't have it, okay? I know all of us are very secure with our income, and even this morning I was talking to my daughter, and I said, you know what? We are so blessed. I said, you're working, Jamal is working, I'm working. I said, we are so blessed. Your husband is working, but the next person, nothing, not even money for gas, you know. So,
Yep, absolutely, just write it up. Melissa can give you a format?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, oh, I have to write it up, I'll do it
Yeah.
again.
You need at least 4
Can somebody
whereas.
help me?
You need at least 4 whereases.
Yeah,
I need 4 whereas.
yeah.
Can
Whereas
somebody help me with it for my first one?
I'm terrible at
I've
it.
never done one.
So-
Dave, I know,
happy to.
can you help me?
Yeah,
Just for the
Yeah.
first one?
Teacher to
Give me an
teacher.
example, and then I can.
I mean, it's basically written right
And
here.
really, it's.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all the information.
Yes, yes, but I don't know how
It will
to.
take an hour at the most.
Whereas
In front of each of them.
in front of free meals distributed, 75,000 free meals distributed, whereas, you know.
Well, where you start
Well, but
off
you need
with,
sentences
start off
to-
with defining the need,
Yes,
and then what he's done to fulfill the need.
And Solange,
Yes,
the
sir.
former District 1 Commissioner for Gwinnett County, Chase Brooks, is now the coordinator for, what's the name of the group? You remember the group I was telling you that tries to get all of the
yeah.
charities,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
you told me.
the need organizations,
You told me.
trying to get them together so they work in synergy.
What is his name again? Do you remember?
Jace Brooks.
Jace Brooks.
And
James
his new
Jace,
position
Jace.
is over, I can never remember the name of that organization. And we've.
It's
I
not
talked
the
to Barbara-
Coalition for Health and Human Services.
No,
That's,
it's, I don't know if it's a private,
Georgia Center for Opportunity.
yeah.
And we've talked about getting him in to talk about what is in this area that, how we can work together to make everything more efficient. Because
there a way
one of the
maybe-
problems is everybody's doing their own little thing, and you know there's a need and these people have a need, but you don't know who to turn to. So you always turn to the exact same people, and there may be somebody who's more adept at dealing with that specific problem.
Is there a way that maybe, and I don't know if it's possible, but that maybe we can ask him to come in, but then if you open it to the public, you might get a lot of people, right? Like just to, so he can just give out the info, you
Well,
know what I mean?
I
Kelly?
talked with Kelly about trying to get
Okay.
him on the
Okay.
Commerce Club agenda. So he can come
He
in.
is coming.
He is coming.
Actually, he's scheduled for February, but Andrew can't do January, so I reached out to see if he can come in January. So I'll let you know, and I also have his contact information.
Yeah,
And we
so,
can- we can go
and,
to that.
and he's,
So I got-
Yeah, I want to go so I can.
he's gonna be kind of new and getting his feet under him, but I'd rather start working with him from the beginning and letting him know that we as a city are interested in.
Yeah, because I would like if the city likes at least holds him, you know, like work with him, support him. 'Cause
There's
that'd
a-
be nice. I mean, he does
there's
all the
an, there's another organization too, if you know people that are struggling with housing or close to homelessness, Home First is a Gwinnett, it's the Gwinnett nonprofit that was started to work on homelessness. So they have a lot of resources to try to help people not become homeless to begin with. So they
Yeah.
might have some gap or
Yeah.
some bridging the gap things
Yeah,
that
I
might
had,
be helpful.
I know about Home First. I had
Okay.
sent a family there to contact them, but at that time it was like around October-ish, they were there. And they said they couldn't help them until December. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just-
they were just getting kicked off, so I don't know where, kind of where they are right now, but that's
And
another.
I can get you the contact person for St. Vincent de Paul at our church. I don't even know who it is.
Is that that church that's on 124 going?
No,
No.
it's
That's
through
another one?
all Catholic churches, they have a branch of St. Vincent de Paul,
Oh,
and they help people, so.
but this is always so heavy on my heart, you know?
Especially if they are your kids. Absolutely.
My kids are hungry. I mean, I took boxes and boxes of food for some of my kids.
Okay,
But, okay, thank you, council. I do appreciate it.
absolutely.
I got my first proclamation passed. I feel so good about
That was a good
myself. But thank you for your support, huh?
Good request.
Yeah.
Butch, do we have a retreat date?
Do we have one?
A date for the retreat?
Proposed
We do not,
something.
Gordon got sick, and I think his schedule is messed up. He's working on it, trying to be the end of January. It might be early in February.
Okay,
So I guess I'll probably hear from him after.
Are we gonna do it here or?
Well, I thought we'd go back to Athens.
Oh.
I think that works pretty well. It might just be one day, but we can work that out.
Just let us know when you know something.
You bet.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? Then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
It's okay, doesn't matter.
7:15. We'll see you in there.